Excellent. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this session with Premium Credit around how they can help you get the value out of some reports and stuff so you can talk about premium finance much earlier with your customers. Just a few housekeeping, if you don't mind staying on mute. If you've got any questions specifically for Sarah on the slides or things that we're discussing at that time, then please raise your hand or pop it in the chat and I'll watch out for those and raise them for you, or you can then unmute and ask them, or alternatively leave all your questions to the end and we'll pick them up with Sarah at the end. But over to you, Sarah. I know we've also got Ben as well here from PCL as well. So
oh yes. Hi everyone, it's lovely to meet you all. I am Sarah from Premium Credit. I am part of Premium Credit's partner learning and development team. Just to give you a bit of an overview of what my team does, we work across the country and in Ireland as well, supporting our brokers with any training needs that they have, whether that is premium credit focused like today, systems focused, or just soft skills focused, so the likes of questioning skills, personality types. We do all sorts of different training. So if you do want any training, just let me know at the end. I can send over a prospectus. As we go through this morning, I will ask you some questions. Feel free to put your answers in the chat for those. Just to test that we are all happy with where the chat is, I'm going to ask you a completely unrelated question. So in the chat, what colour do you think cheese and onion crisp packets should be, blue or green? Just to test that we all know where the chat is. So to you, what colour is cheese and onion crisps? Judy said blue. She's going Walkers. William is also blue. See, I can't send anything in the chat, so I'm worried it's also doing that for other people. We've only got two. This concerns me. Is everyone else able to access the chat?
Yeah, we've got quite a few in the chat. Can you not see them?
No, I can't.
There's mine. There's there's Will. There's Nick. There's Jill. There's Emma. There's Mike. There's Kelly. She wants green.
I can only see two. I can only see William and Julie on there.
That's okay. Julie, you'll have to be our communicator.
I can see. I wonder if it's in the set. I wonder if it's my settings.
Right.
Judy can mediate, I'm sure.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
what's
I'll do
the
that.
Consensus with the crisp packets? Is it coming out blue or green mainly?
Blue. Everybody's blue. A few people saying it should be green.
Okay. So other than those people, we're a good bunch then. Brilliant. Let's continue. So today we're going to be focusing on offering finance to your clients with confidence. So in this session, we're going to look at a couple of different things. We're going to look at a tool we have to promote the benefits of premium finance. Customers tend to see it as one of two ways of paying. You can pay in full or you can pay through monthly installments. So today's session, we're going to look at taking it above that. What is the value of finance to your clients and how can we promote that to them? So I'm not going to be able to see the scores, but when it comes to offering finance at the moment, and don't feel like you need to share this if you don't want to, but between 1 to 5, I just want you to maybe note down or just think to yourself, where do you think you currently sit when it comes to offering finance? So 1 would be you offer it because you know it's compliant to do so. 5 would be, yes, very happy, very comfortable with the benefits. I know that it's more than just a way of paying. I can pitch the reinvestment opportunities to clients as well. So 5 being incredibly confident, almost like a why are you here sort of thing, but you just want that clarification that you're on the right path. And 1 being no, I need this session to learn a little bit more. So don't feel like you have to share those, but if you'd like to, go ahead. I'm not able to see them anyway. But 1 to 5, just have a think about where you're currently sitting. Julie, I don't know if any have come in.
I'll let you know if anybody puts theirs in the chat.
Brilliant. So hopefully what we're going to do today, it might not be immediately that you're increasing in that confidence score, because it tends to require a bit of repetition and actually putting things into practice.
3.
Right in the middle, nice and safe. Thank you very much. So hopefully we'll increase that maybe to a 4 today, or once you've put these things into practice, we'll end up in that 4 section, but in the middle, very safe. I like it. So what are we covering today? To give you a little bit more detail on that, we're going to look at some market insights for SMEs and also commercial market insights as well. So what's going on in the world at the moment that might impact the way that clients are paying for their insurance. We're going to look at the benefits of finance, not just to the client, but also to your business as well. And then the main section is looking at the cost benefit analysis tool that we've got available for you to use. So I'm going to show you what you can send to clients, so the nice polished finished version, as well as almost the behind the scenes that you will be looking at, which is a spreadsheet, and how you can use that to demonstrate the value of finance to your clients. And then finishing off with some objection handling, so common objections that we tend to see around insurance premium finance and how those can be tackled. So starting then with some stats on who Premium Credit are, and I have blocked one out, I'm going to come back to that in a moment, but we have more than 2.6 million clients, and these range from private individuals right up to multi-million pound businesses and everything in between that. We don't just work in the insurance space. This tends to surprise a lot of people. So it's not just insurance premium finance that we offer. We also support parents who send their children to private schools with those school fees. We do marina fees. We do golf club memberships, rugby season passes, football season passes. We can help businesses finance their corporation tax bill, self-assessment. So tax as well is something that we offer. So lots of different products available, not just insurance. However, the majority of that 2.6 million clients is through that insurance space. I've blocked out our net advances because I thought it'd be interesting for you to have a bit of a guess. So the net advances is how much we're currently lending out to all of our clients. I've not revealed whether that's million or billion. I've been a bit cheeky there. But in the chat, how much do you think we're currently lending out as a business in net advances?
Okay, we're just waiting for some people to pop in.
Like
millions. Somebody's just put millions. 100 million. I must admit, I put 20 just to start the ball rolling, but I know it's more than that.
20 million. Someone's just put millions, which is very safe.
100 million.
Okay.
105 million. Somebody's just trying to edge their bet on that one.
Okay, I'll give it a couple more seconds, see if we get any more.
80 million.
Okay. All right, I'm going to reveal. It's actually 5.2 billion. So we are lending out a lot of money, and that has increased massively in the last couple of years as well. So it often quite surprises people that we are in the billions. Our goal is to be at 8 billion in the next couple of years, and that's growth that we're seeing happen. So when I first started at Premium Credit about 18 months ago, actually it's more than that now, about 20 months ago, that figure was 3.2 billion. So the growth we've seen in the last couple of years has been incredible. Lots of different reasons for that: cost of living crisis, more in the personal line space, but also with SMEs as well, premiums increasing, energy bills increasing, people are changing the way that they're paying for insurance. In the commercial space, our brokers are pitching the benefits of that, reinvestment, growing your business, using premium finance to do that. So we're just seeing growth all over, and we're at £5.2 billion worth of net advances at the moment. So that equates to 27 million direct debits being collected annually. We're also market leading experts, so over 30 years of experience there. We are, of course, authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. And then I've touched on this slightly already, but we work with over 3,000 intermediaries in the insurance space, but also schools, golf clubs. So lots of different partners that we're working with across the UK and Ireland as well. And that's our head office in the picture there, that is based in Leatherhead in Surrey. We've got a section of that we work from, but most people work from home. Okay, so these aren't necessarily things that you're going to be sharing with clients. It's more just to give you an idea of who Premium Credit are, what we're doing at the moment, and how we're performing. So what I want to look at now is some stats. I want to set a bit of a scene as to why your commercial and SME clients might use premium finance. So my question for you is, what percentage of SMEs do you think use credit to pay for insurance at the moment? And by credit, I don't just mean premium credit or close. I don't mean premium finance. It could be premium finance. It could be a credit card. It could be a loan. It could be an overdraft facility. So what percentage of SMEs do you think use credit to pay for one or more types of cover? We'll say closest answer wins.
Okay, we have got 80, 55%, 65%, couple at 65, 95%, 40%, 65, 90, 90.
Okay, who is it that said 55, Julie?
That was Lynn Lamont, 55.
Amazing. You got it bang on, Lynn. Well done. 55% exactly. So prize to you, it will be out in the post. 55% of SMEs are currently using credit to pay for insurance. We've seen a 4% increase on last year. So last year it was 51%. In 2024, it's increased to 55%. So we're seeing a lot of clients using some form of credit to pay for their insurance, over half. You're probably not going to be surprised to hear that the majority of that is credit cards. So over half of that 55% are credit card users, followed by premium finance, and then after that, a business or personal loan. So credit cards seem to be the main form of borrowing at the moment. And I think my last slide is the different credit card rates for corporate and consumers, so we can look at how that compares. But the average interest rate of a consumer credit card at the moment is about 22.46%. So quite a high interest on credit cards. If you compare that to your rate of a premium credit loan, we tend to come out more competitive than that. Obviously, we do have clients who have 0% credit cards, for example, or they pay off their credit card each month. So that may potentially be the better form of borrowing for them. But 51% of adults in the UK don't pay off their credit card each month, and they are accruing that 22.46 or higher percent of interest each month. So it might not necessarily be the best form of borrowing for all clients. My next question is, what percentage of SMEs were not insured against one of their top 3 risks, or against their top 3 risks last year? So this is looking at underinsurance. Essentially, what percentage of SMEs were underinsured last year? And again, we'll have closest answer wins.
75, 19, 70, 85. 64, 49, 45, 40, 50, 35.
I'm trying to work out who's closest. I think it's whoever said 64, but I could be wrong. That was trying to do quick maths at the same time.
64, yeah. I suppose we might have a split decision here, because 64 we've got 50. Somebody said 50. Somebody said 65. Yeah, probably it is. So that is Mike.
Mike, well done, Mike. So 58% is the answer. So no one got bang on for that one, but we got pretty close. 58% of SMEs were underinsured last year, or they weren't insured against their top 3 risks. I think you all know as well as I do that what's the point of having insurance if you're not fully covered? It makes it pretty obsolete, really. But 58% of SMEs underinsured. I think the next slide covers it, but 88% of business owners felt that they were comfortable with their insurance cover and that they were fully covered. And then we've got 58% not insured against their top 3 risks. So there's a bit of a knowledge gap there for them. I'm going to touch more on that in just a moment. I'm not going to ask you to answer this one. I will just reveal it. I'll give you a little bit of a break. But we also saw that 12% of SMEs were so underinsured that they actually weren't even able to make a claim last year as well. And I imagine that 12% is actually probably higher. I imagine it's more around the 20% mark. Because if you know you're underinsured, you're probably not even going to try to make the claim. So it's probably higher than 12%. But again, What's the point of having insurance if you can't make a claim? And if you can't afford the insurance, then you probably can't afford the claim either. So insurance premium finance could potentially be a solution to get clients the cover they need at that more affordable cost. Just to give you a little bit more detail on some SME stats. There we go, bring in all the pictures. We've got 99.9% of businesses in the UK are SMEs, which is why we've got more of a focus on them in this market insight session. We've got 47% of SMEs saying that energy bills rising was the reason that they used finance to pay for their premiums in the last year. I think the cost of living crisis hit a lot of people, but particularly SMEs. So they had energy bills going up, they had salaries going up, the cost of materials going up. So it was certainly hitting them pretty hard. We've mentioned the 58% not being insured against their top 3 risks, and there it is, 88% of business owners felt confident that they were on top of their insurance needs. I really like the last one there as well in green, that a third of business owners said that an insurer's expertise in their sector is a top factor influencing their decision. So they like an insurance expert who knows their stuff, they know the product, and insurance premium finance could be a part of that credibility. You know, we've got more than one option to pay, and this is why you might go with IPF over paying in full, for example. We've got price and policy features outranking that. So again, if we can get them the cover they need, we can be that insurance expert and then actually support them with breaking down that price into monthly installments, we could certainly be coming out on top there. So some SME market insights for you. We said as well that 55% of SMEs using some form of credit has grown from 51%, which, you know, is surprising, seeing as we're starting to enter more into a softening market, that's still increasing, but actually businesses are still just feeling the repercussion of all those price increases previously in the year. To give you some more information around more commercial market insights. So I mentioned already that we're on the brink of that softening market. We've previously had rates increasing quite consistently. They're now stabilizing and actually potentially on their way down in some areas. So I think it's financial and professional, they are decreasing. And I believe cyber's decreased as well by 7% as well, according to the Marsh report. So we are starting to see rates come down, which is brilliant. And you're probably thinking, well, why would a client want to use premium finance if rates are coming down? And that's where we may stop pitching the affordability benefits and start looking more at the value in growing their business. These affordability benefits are still going to be there for a lot of clients, but for those where the premium's coming down, actually can we look at how they can use it to grow their business instead? So still lots of benefits to clients, even with those rates decreasing. So in the chat, what benefits do you think there are to clients in terms of using premium finance? Why would a client choose to use direct debit over paying in full, do you think? Well, I think I've got 6 that are going to appear. I wonder if you can get all, if not some of them.
Releases capital, spread the cost, cash flow. Good rates and affordability, cash flow and affordability. Any more, guys?
I think you've got a lot of the ones on here. Is that all that have come in?
Yeah, everybody else is sat on the fence.
No, I mean, I think we got a lot covered there. So you said cash flow, you said frees up working capital, you mentioned the rates as well. All absolutely correct. So I think personally the biggest benefit to clients is that improved cash flow, and it frees up working capital. And that's something that we're going to really focus on later on in the session. But actually, it's just looking at other areas for them to invest in. Are you looking to grow your business? How are you funding that growth? Are you putting it on a credit card where you're accruing lots of interest? Or actually, is there a better way of doing it? Easy to implement. So once it's set up for a client, they've got it going, it's easy, it can roll over, which is why we tend to see higher retention as well for clients that use premium finance over paying in full. We've also got on there installment flexibility. So for a client who maybe has a bespoke cash flow setup, we can look at the increments in which we collect instalments. So we can fund anything between 2 and 12 months. It might be that you've got a standard 10 monthly setup, which works really well for 99% of clients, but you might have one client who's looking for 5 monthly instalments, for example, and that's something we can certainly look at doing for you. We've also got some of our clients who pay every other month. We've got one client who pays quarterly as well, because that's just how their cash flow is set up. So that's something that we're always happy to look at doing. It's just a case of letting us know that you've got a client interested in that. You've mentioned the fixed rates as well, so fixed and attractively priced rates. We like to think we're competitive in the market with rates, and they are fixed for the year. So you've got these businesses who have that financial stability and that, you know, they're aware of how much it's going to be each month. Julie, is there a question?
There is. I'm going to ask a question here just for the benefit of everybody. So if, bearing in mind we have our normal set, like 10 months, etc., set up, can you just do it for one particular client? So if they had a client, there was only one client that needed quarterly, could they come to you and say, right, I don't want to do it over 10, I want to do it quarterly, and you'd be able to do that as a bespoke arrangement?
Yes, we could, yeah. So it doesn't need to be something that's built into your system to have that as an option. It can just be a one-off. We just need to look at underwriting that slightly differently. So it's not always going to be a yes, but it's something that we can look at doing for the client, yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
No worries. We've got the final one on there, the orange one. I've touched on this already slightly, but ensures cost not prohibitive to cover. So this is just making sure that clients have the level of cover they need at an affordable cost previously, and it's not something we're really seeing anymore, but in the last couple of years we did see a lot of clients increasing their excess to make the insurance more affordable, removing things from the policy, and we all know how detrimental that can be. So our product can help them get the cover they need at a more affordable cost as well. So lots of benefits to clients. There's also lots of benefits to you as a business as well. So again, in the chat, I'll give you 30 seconds to come up with as many benefits to yourselves as you can think of. Again, I've got 6 on the screen there, and I think I have touched on a couple as we've gone through, so feel free to use anything I've said as well. Oh dear.
Okay, we've got, I've said means you can offer more products, because you can say, well, what about cyber? What about management liability protection, other things? Anybody else got any other suggestions? You know you want to put it down, everybody, but you just avoiding putting it down. You can make money on premium finance. So I'm going to say that because nobody wants to put it in the chat.
Being very polite, that's okay.
As we stand, overriders. Somebody, thank you, Nicola, and so is Stacey. She's put overriders. Dan's put overriders. Yeah, because at the moment that is the stance, unless things change, as we all know. But I doubt they ever will. But
yeah,
win the business. That's an interesting one, because that can be really, really crucial. Can make the difference whether you win it or not by offering flexibility. That comes into the flexibility. So good point, Rob. Anybody else got anything else? Don't be shy.
No, flexibility is a really good one. It's actually not one that we have on our slide, but yes, sometimes it can be the difference between getting the business and not having that option available.
Prompt payment, somebody said.
Oh, another one that we don't have.
The other one that comes to my mind is that by doing the premium finance, if they know there could be changes throughout the year, they then don't have like a huge AP that they've got to find mid-year round, because it can be added to the agreement.
Absolutely. I'll reveal the ones we have. Again, that one's not on there, but yes, having a facility for midterm adjustments is really beneficial. The client can pay those in full if they want to, but also if they want to spread that across the remaining instalments, they have that option, which they wouldn't have if they were paying in full. So income stream, I've got that as our top one there. That is the biggest benefit to you as a broker. You get an overrider off of anything that goes through premium credit, so an additional income stream for you as a business. Increased retention as well. We tend to see that clients who use premium finance stay with their brokers between 3 and 5 years, whereas those who pay in full tend to stay less than that. I personally think that's down to just the ease of the process. So there's no real reason behind it, or we don't know the reason behind it, but I think it is just how easy it is. It's coming out each month. It might increase, but that doesn't look as much monthly as it would yearly. So they're just more likely to let it just roll over and continue. We've got lower risk as well and savings on resources. So premium credit, send out chasers for the credit agreement. We'll send out letters in regards to defaults as well. So we're trying to support you there by doing a lot of the correspondence in relation to the agreement. And then we've got training and support as well, which I personally think is the biggest benefit. We offer free training and support to all of the brokers that work with us on anything that they need. That would be my team there. So we're definitely the biggest benefit of using premium credit, as well as income retention. We can share the top spot. So lots of benefits to the client, lots of benefits to you as a business. We're going to look at now how we can position finance to clients. So something we're going to look at is the formula for success. So this is something we've seen our top performing accounts using, and we've kind of bottled it and put it in a training session. And the good news here is those steps probably all look familiar to you. It's probably how you're currently, offering insurance. So you're preparing for the conversation, which if you've been in the business a while, you may be not doing that as formally as you used to, but it's probably still there in the back of your mind, those questions that you want to ask. Probably comes a bit more naturally, but I'm sure there is some form of preparation. Indicators. So what's the client saying that we need to listen out for? What can we, cross-sell, upsell based on those indicators? Presenting the offer to the client and then exploring different options as well. So that's probably a process you're following already. It's just following the same process, not doing really anything different, but just instead adding a premium finance lens onto it. If we're here saying, okay, you've now got to do this, this, and this, it makes it a bit trickier, but actually we're just saying you need to carry on doing exactly what you're doing, but just consider premium finance in all of that as well. So starting with preparation, I'm not going to spend too long on preparation at all, because like I say, it's probably something, if you've been in the business a while, that's coming quite naturally to you. It's probably not something you do as formally as maybe you used to. But it's how we can put that premium finance lens on it. So has there been any changes to the business in the last year? It's probably something you're already thinking about. What's impacted their industry in the last year? So, I mean, this year it's probably been a new government. Have they, or are they planning on bringing in anything that's going to impact that particular business? What's the market looking like? So we know we're entering that softening market now. Is that what they're seeing as well? So we tend to see that it's different in each area that we deliver training to. Some people say, yes, rates are coming down for me. Some are saying rates are going up. So it's just what the market's looking like for that particular business. And thinking about all of these, and will they have an impact on how the client wants to pay, which often it does. Sorry, I don't know if that's me making that noise or not, but just a binging there. So yeah, is that having an impact on how they're going to want to pay? So again, it's just something worth thinking about, and never presuming that we know how the client's going to pay. If they've paid in full for the last 10 years, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the same this year. It might be, but it's always worth just re-exploring it. And we do have examples of clients who have paid in full every single year for 10, 15 years, and they have eventually come over to using us. So just thinking about what's changed, and thinking about if there's an opportunity for the client to need working capital. So lots of benefits to freeing up working capital, particularly investments. So are they looking to grow their business? That's something that working capital can support with. Support cushion as well, particularly with rates increasing recently. We don't really know what's going to happen with the Labour government coming in. So actually, is having a support cushion going to be beneficial to them? I can imagine the answer there will always be yes. But lots of benefits of freeing up working capital. But has anything changed within their business, within the market, that would make it more useful this year than previously? So preparation is everything you're already doing, all the questions you're currently asking, but just thinking about, is that going to impact the way that they're paying? And then whilst we're asking those questions, what indicators do we need to be looking out for? So we've got already, having touched on these, what are their growth plans? Are they looking for mergers, acquisitions? How are they funding all of these? Are they getting a loan? Are they putting it on a credit card? What's their plans? And one of the larger benefits of using us instead of getting a loan would be we're off balance sheet lending. So we can make their balance sheet look a little bit healthier. So instead of spending the money paying in full for insurance, instead they use premium finance and utilize that money elsewhere instead of getting that loan out, which is then going to appear on their balance sheet. So lots of indicators to be listening out for, particularly ESG, so environmental, social governance. So, I mean, because I can't see the chat, what we'll do instead is raise your hand if you've had a conversation or you're starting to have conversations with clients around ESG at all. It tends to be a bit of a mix. Wherever I go, some are saying, it's more the construction side saying, yes, we're having all these conversations, and some it looks like this, where, I mean, I can't see any raised hands, but I don't know if that's just me. William, thank you.
No, we've got no raised hands, so they're probably not.
That's okay. Apart from
no, we've got one. We've got one.
Perfect. I'm just going to lower your hand for you. I'm going to try to anyway. Thank you very much. So just the one, but it's probably going to start coming up. By 2035, 95% of investment plans are going to include some form of ESG. So it's likely to start coming up with your conversations with clients. Businesses are looking to invest in ESG because it makes them look more attractive to investors. If they're looking to sell shares or sell parts of their business, again, it's going to make them look more attractive in that area as well. So ESG is a huge area that we're seeing a lot of investment going into. Premium credit, for example, a lot of our account managers, I don't know if Ben does, but a lot of our account managers have an electric vehicle. So they are investing a lot into that. It makes us look more attractive. So eventually, if we start looking for a new owner, there he goes, thumbs up, he's got an electric vehicle, how lucky. When we're starting to look for those new owners, that could potentially be something that makes us look more attractive. I believe there's also some tax benefits there as well with investing in ESG. So lots of different reasons to do it, and I imagine businesses will start to. So when you start having those ESG conversations with clients, it's just that opportunity to then bring the premium finance offering in. So actually, let's reinvest into that instead of doing this and use premium finance. So one area that can be brought in. We've also got risk mitigation as well. So we have an example of a client who had a very high premium. They were paying about 100,000 a month for their premium, and they, instead of paying in full for that, they spread the cost into those monthly installments and were able to mitigate risk by investing in a sprinkler system. So they invested, I think it was about £100,000 for the sprinkler system, so a huge upfront cost. So they used premium finance, reinvested into that sprinkler system, and they were able to mitigate risk in the future and actually bring their premium down in future years. So that could be something if you've got a client who's got a really high premium and there is a way of mitigating some of that risk and bringing down their premium. It could be exploring that premium finance route this year so that they can reinvest into that and in turn bring down that premium in future years. So again, another area just to consider if that does come up. So our indicators are if they have growth plans, mergers, acquisitions, ESG conversations, and then risk mitigation as well. So lots of different indicators out there to be listening out for. If we hear one of these, or if we don't even, we can present finance to the client. And the way that we present it is by using the Premium Credits Cost Benefit Analysis document, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. Now, I'm going to get onto that and show you the actual document, but I just wanted to go through some of the key bits of terminology on there before I do. Otherwise, I'm showing you all at once and trying to explain the terminology and it all gets a bit lost. So we've got two key bits just to mention prior to looking at the document. So return on capital employed is something that you'll see on our quote and cost benefit analysis document. Return on capital employed, or ROCE. It's also known as return on investment, or ROI, so that's probably another name you'll know it as, but essentially it's how well working capital performs within a business. So if I was to invest, how well is that investment going to perform? So the example I've got there is if I invest £10,000 into my business and I make 1,200 as a return, my ROCE or return on investment will be 12%. Another example we like to give, apologies if it's a bit cheesy, but is our ice cream van example. So if I'm an ice cream van owner, I have £100 to invest into my ice cream van business. I can either buy new stock, I can find a new pitch to park my ice cream van, but in my example, I'm going to invest my £100 into a new Mr. Whippy machine. So I'm going to buy that new Mr. Whippy machine. It's much faster than my older one. So I'm managing to get through my queue of customers a lot quicker. And because that investment has performed well, I make £112 at the end of the day. So I've turned my 100 into 112 for a positive investment. So again, my ROCE there would be 12%. Now with ROCE, if you have access to Full Circle, it's on there. It's really easy to find on Full Circle. You can just Google where it is. If you don't have
no, you don't use Full Circle, no.
That's all right. You can also find it on Companies House for some clients as well. So that might be a better way of doing it. But what we like to suggest is you could use the UK average, which is 10%. So you can put in that UK average of 10%. And then if you want to ask the client for a more accurate figure, they can either provide one if they know it, or you can just go at that indicative 10%. What we do tend to find is it's higher than 10% a client's ROCE. So if you can get the more accurate figure, it does tend to look better, but indicative quote of 10% will work as well. The other area we're going to look at on the document is corporation tax. So what you'll be able to do on your end is select yes or no, whether the business is corp tax paying or not. So if they make a profit, they will be. If they don't, they're not. And you're able to generate how much that client would be able to offset their corporation tax bill by the end of the financial year. So how that works is businesses that make a profit pay corporation tax, and it's calculated based on the company's profits. So if you've got a company that makes less than 50k in profits, they're paying 19% in corporation tax. If they're exceeding 250k in profits, they're paying 25% in corporation tax. And then if they fall between the two, it's a tapered approach between 19 and 25%. And there is a calculation to work that out, but our document will do that for you as well. So this is how much your client will be paying corporation tax. They can also offset their tax bill by a percentage of any business expense that they make. And the interest on a premium credit loan is considered a business expense. So they can essentially reduce their interest by doing this. It's not an on-the-spot reduction, but they can offset their tax bill at the end of the financial year by doing this. So if I just give you a real life example or a couple of examples. So let's look at the red one in the middle. We've got a company who has 40k in company profits. So their corporation tax is 19% because it's less than that 50k in profits. We've got a 6.2% interest charge on the premium credit loan. So that means they can reduce that interest by 19%, which would effectively bring down their interest to 5.02%. And again, it's not that on the spot reduction, but at the end of the financial year, they can offset their tax bill by a certain amount. So even if you don't utilise the quote cost benefit analysis document, I would recommend always just mentioning this to clients. You'll be surprised at how few are aware of it. We even get some FDs that weren't aware that it's considered a business expense. So it's just good to know. So the document itself, this might look familiar to some of you potentially, but it's 2 pages. The first page is more about the facts. So what is it that we're offering? And then the second page is the value. So this is page 1, the facts page. So on here, if I bring up my laser pointer, just to make it a little bit easier, we've got 3 monthly instalment options of 6, 8 and 10. If you offer 3, you can include 3. If you offer 2, you can do 2. If you offer 1, you can just strip it right back to 1. We do recommend, where possible, offering 3 different instalment options, and that's because we tend to see clients going with the middle option. So if I want the client to go with 10, for example, and I offer 8, 10 and 12, they're more likely to go with the 10 monthly instalments. It might be that 12 feels like too many, 6 is too high, or 8 is too high, so I'm going to go with 10 monthly instalments. So we've got the 3 different payment options. We then have the initial premium amount. So in this example, we've got 80,000, and then the transaction charge is that interest. So that's the additional charge on top for using premium finance. We've got a facility fee as well. So this is the admin fee, the cost of setting up the agreement, and that comes out with the first monthly instalment. So you'll see that in the breakdown further on. We've got the first instalment, which is £45 more than the remaining 5, 7 or 9. And then the total amount payable, which is the initial premium plus our transaction charge and facility fee here, bringing out the total amount that the client will be paying. And then right at the bottom is where we've got the corporation tax savings. And what I like most about this is the fact it's not in a percentage, it's in an actual figure. So we can say to the client, if you were to use this, you can offset your tax bill by £456 at the end of the financial year. I think it looks much better than a percentage, for example. So that's our first page, the facts. And if we are, looking at a client who would use premium finance for affordability reasons, this would certainly be a key page to include. If we've got a cash-rich client who has the money to pay for their insurance in full, I definitely recommend including this page as well. I personally think with every client, include both pages so they can really see the benefits of finance. But if you've got those cash-rich clients who are trickier to convert, this is definitely a page to share with them. So again, we've got that initial premium amount of 80,000, and then on the right-hand side, we've got it with that interest as well. So the total amount payable of 82,445. So what this page is showing is by the end of the 10 monthly instalments, this particular client will be £1,713 better off by using premium finance. So because they are going to offset their tax bill by that corporation tax rate, and they've got that ROCE of 12%, if they invested this 80,000 into their business, not only would they make back that £2,445 in interest, they're also going to make back an additional £1,713. So they're going to be in a positive cash flow position by the end of the 10 monthly instalments, which you can see here in the graph below. We've got the cost of finance in red, and then that return on capital employed in blue, which is much higher than how much finance is costing. So it's a definite positive for this client to use premium finance over paying in full. And I'll show you how you can create this in just a moment, but I just want to check in and see if there are any questions at all on this page.
Anybody got any questions at all?
It's okay if you don't, I'll take silence as a no, but no, we're all good.
Oh, no questions, but great page. That's what somebody said.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm just going to swap my screen around just to show you what this would look like from your side and how you would generate that. So it's done with a Excel document, which I'll just share now. So this is the Excel. If I zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole page. Anything in red you can edit. So you can put in your broker name, for example. So if I was broker ABC, I can type that in there. I can put in the client's name as well. So they can be X. We'll give a little nod to Elon Musk. We've got the initial transaction amount. So I can keep it as that. Oh no, that's not good. Bear with one moment. I don't know what's happened there. But you can get this document from Interactive. So if you have access to our portal, you can get this from there. It's just downloadable. On the right-hand side in the menus, you'll see quote and cost benefit analysis. You've probably never noticed it before unless it's pointed out to you, and you can download a copy of this from there. Okay, so we're back. We've got the broker name, the client name, the premium amounts. If I change it to 40,000, for example, You can put in whatever that premium amount is. And then for this example, just because we tend to see brokers offering just 10 monthly installments, I've included just one monthly installment here. But if I want to add in 12 or 8, for example, it's just a case of putting in the transaction fee, and if we include a facility fee, which would be yes. So the example you download from Interactive will be auto-filled with 3 installment options in there. It just tends to be that the brokers I work with only offer one, which is 10. So that's why I've created this one.
One question. Since PCL is being integrated on Actress, what sort of circumstance can we use this Excel spreadsheet? It's because we're integrating PCL into Actress. You would have to do this through the Interactive, so in other words, PC's portal. That would be the only way you could do it. So
that's right, Julie. Yeah.
So you would have to go into the main PCL portal to use this document. But and the other question was also, when will PCL be integrated eventually? It is coming, trust me, it is coming. We've had a few delays. It was supposed to go live on the 1st of November, I think it was, or whatever, 5th of November or something. But there was a few delays, as Ben knows. So it is coming. It's being worked on currently. So trust me, it is coming, the integrated. But I would say this document is more for your larger clients, isn't it, than your smaller ones, which you'd probably do through the portal rather than through Interactive anyway.
Yes, I'd say 10,000 plus, maybe 8,000 plus clients, definitely worth using this document for. It's something that if you have access to Interactive, you can just download it. It gives you the Excel, and then you can use it with any client. You don't need to keep going into Interactive to get it each time. It's editable. And if you can't get it through Interactive for whatever reason, I'm sure Ben would be happy to send it over to you. So yeah, you can access this a few different ways, but using that Interactive link just means you have the most up-to-date version at any time.
And also it presumably then helps with the rates, because it would pull the rates from the Interactive system, wouldn't it?
Oh, that's a good question. Ben, any ideas on that? I think it's just test.
No, you've actually got to input your own rate card into there, so it will always just generate the standard rates. So you will need to input the actual rate card that Movo have, because it is just a generic document. So
okay, on that basis then, just a bit of a reminder for anybody that if you try and use this for small premiums, there is a minimum amount of interest that PCL must charge or earn for that loan.
That's around about £1,000, I think we calculated it, wasn't Julie?
Yes. So if it's under £1,000, you might take the rates from the rate card, but because it's not earning PCL enough income, the interest rate when you go and process it will be a lot higher. So your document you'll have shared will be totally wrong. So do bear in mind in that. I would say smaller stuff, when PCL is integrated, will probably where you'll use it. So only use this, I would say, for anything that is, well, like you say, ideally 10k and above, but you could probably do maybe £2,000 plus on here. That would be okay, but anything under that, I'd be a little bit wary about the interest rates.
Yeah, good call out. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, with the interest rates, you can edit them, so you can put in whatever the correct rate is, just making sure that you do that. Otherwise it could be inaccurate. So we've got anything in red you can edit. So we've got monthly installments here. Underneath that, this is where we've got the corporation tax rate. So this will change for you based on what we put in the company profits. So first of all, if they're not a corporation tax paying business, we can just put no, it won't pull through to the next page, but majority of the time is yes, they are. So we can put in the company profits, which will then change that figure there. If it's a tapered approach, we get an additional box where we can type in those company profits, and it will again do that calculation for us. So we've got corporation tax, which is generated by this section just underneath, and then we've got ROCE as well. So 10% being the UK average, but for this example, we'll go 25%. We'll say that I went onto Companies House and got a more accurate figure there. So what we've then got, we've done the left-hand side. on the right hand side, this is what we want that graph to focus on. So the first page with the facts, if we've got 3 instalment options on, it will show all of those, but the graph really can just focus in on one. So if I have 10 monthly instalments is what I want that graph to focus on, because that's what I feel like the client is going to lean towards, I'll leave that there. And then it's just calculating that cash flow analysis. So in this example, we've got this client who has a £40,000 premium, about £3,000 of interest. They will make back that full £3,000 of interest and also make an additional 1.5k as well, because of that corporation tax savings and that ROCE. So they're going to have a positive investment. And I've got finance quote, which is the tab underneath, which is that facts page, and that cost benefit analysis page, which is my graph as well. And what I can do to produce something for the client is just write finance quote and CBA to PDF, and it will let me save that and send out that more attractive version to the clients. We don't really want to send them the spreadsheet version. And this is what we had in the screen grab, is the PDF. Just whilst that's generating, oh, here it is, or it will appear in a second. Just whilst that's generating, there might be some instances where we get a negative figure. So for example, the client might have a lower ROCE, and it is whenever the ROCE is lower, that overall cash flow position is going to be lower. So the higher the better, really. But in this example, we've got minus £109. So if I go to my graph, we've got it in red here. It looks negative. Do I really want to share this with a client? The answer is yes. Even though it's a negative figure, it doesn't necessarily mean a negative outcome. So in this example, it's saying the client won't make back the full £3,057 of interest, but they're going to make pretty much all of it back apart from £109. So through that corporation tax rate and that ROCE, they're not making back the full interest, but almost all of it. And it's saying that they can essentially borrow £40,000 for £109. So the things they can do with that working capital is probably going to be quite beneficial. And where can you borrow £40,000 for £109? I can't really think of anywhere. So it is still beneficial, even if it's a negative figure, but it's just you deciding how beneficial that is. And in this case, I definitely still share it with them. So I should have that PDF saved somewhere. Don't know where it is. I think it went onto my desktop. But it will save a PDF for you somewhere. My computer's playing up a bit today. But this is the CBA document and finance quote. You just save it to a PDF. You can then attach that as an email or print it out. You can put it in a slide if you're having a pre-renewal meeting. So whatever your preference is with sharing that with the client, but I definitely recommend doing so. So just whilst I bring up the final couple of slides for the last 5 minutes, are there any questions or anything anyone wants a little bit more clarity on with that document? I appreciate it's a lot of numbers being thrown around.
None coming up at the moment.
Perfect. That means I've explained it really well, so I'll take that as a win. Okay, if something comes up, let me know. But the last section of our formula for success is options. So it's just being aware of the different options that Premium Credit offer. So we can fund partial premiums. So if your client's budgeted £1,000, for example, and the premium ends up being £3,000, we can finance that remaining £2,000. So it doesn't need to be the full premium. We can fund partial premiums. It might be the case that you're able to place part of the premium with a 0% direct debit, but you're not sure what to do with the rest. Again, we can take that other part of the premium. So partial premiums are certainly an option. And we can also bundle together a portfolio of policies under one credit agreement, one monthly payment going out, so making it a little bit simpler for the client as well. So 2 different options just to be aware of, not something that everyone is aware of, so we like to mention that. Okay, so just remember, preparation, indicators, presentation, options, probably something you're doing already, but again, it's just having that premium finance lens on the process. And I just wanted to end today with some common objections that come up. And essentially the answer to all of these is that cost benefit analysis document. So if you've got a cash rich client, you've got a client who always pays in full, they have no interest in using a finance facility, those are the ones I definitely present that cost benefit analysis to. Yes, we're there for those who need us from an affordability side, but we can also be there to support the cash rich clients with growing their business as well. If they have another credit facility available, potentially with lower interest rates or an existing line of credit, it might still be worth using us. They can keep that line of credit available for future needs and instead use us. We're almost like a one-time offer. So when they are getting that insurance, that is the offer for them to use premium finance. If they decide to pay in full, we're not going to be able to be there, 6 months down the line if they've paid in full. So whereas a loan or a credit card will always be available. So use us whilst you have us. And then to finish up, my summary slide is just lots of credit card rates for you, just to give you a bit of an idea of where we're sitting. So the orange one is the consumer credit cards. This I recently put in a new slide today, and I was quite surprised to see Santander increasing by 1%. I did think we were going to start seeing rates decreasing in the credit card space, and what I have seen in the past is when one goes up, all the rest tend to follow. So it doesn't look like they're coming down just yet, but what we tend to see is our rate coming out slightly better. So orange is consumer, yellow is your SME and corporate cards. These are APRs, but interest just tends to sit slightly below that. And we do tend to find that we are competitive in the market. Oh, 2 minutes to spare. We're doing well. Any final questions at all for me or for Ben?
Right. One thing, can you just explain again how you produce the document from Excel? So
Yes.
if you've got the manual Excel, by the way, on that, it might be worthwhile, the manual Excel document, Ben, if you could share that, I will upload it to Buddy. If you don't mind sharing that with me, I'll put it
I
on
will send that
Buddy.
over to you now.
Then anybody can get the manual version off.
Yes. So what will happen is it will open up on the quotation page. You put in all of your information that you want for that particular client, so their name, premium, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the finance quote page where you write finance quote and cost benefit analysis to PDF. So there is two options. This top one is just going to be this page. It's not going to give you the graph in the PDF. So second one is going to make sure it's both. I can then save that somewhere. So if I just save it in my download so I can find it again, you can title that file with the client's name. And then there we go, it's worked this time. It's going to come up as a PDF like this. I can either print it, save it, whatever I want to do with it, attach it to an email, and it's ready to go for that client.
Thank you.
That's all right. Any other questions?
Yeah, I was going to say, has anybody else got any questions?
I think Ben's really keen to answer a couple of questions, so please fire away.
I can see he's sitting in the wings there.
Yeah.
Is that new to anybody? Can I ask? Has anybody? I know, Matthew, you've been using the manual spreadsheet. I know, but is that a new document that some of you have never even looked at in the interactive portal, or have you ever used it before? Have you never thought about using it? Is it all new? Oh, Lawrence, do you want to unmute and then say anything?
Hi, Julie.
Hiya.
And thank you for that presentation, Sarah. That was very helpful. Just to say that this stuff is all completely new. But I don't know whether or not you now want to quiz me on the back of it. But yeah, it was all new.
Good.
Excellent. Thank you. Lawrence, we'll pick up afterwards, actually, because I think you guys haven't got a PCL Direct account, have you?
Not yet, no.
So you might want to think about using it because it might be quite valuable for some if you get the request again, because I know you had to do one recently, but and you did it with Close, but it might be quite useful in your space a little bit.
That's helpful. Thank you, guys.
Daniel has said, I've not seen it before, but looks very useful. So I think it is. I think it's a great way, and I think you should probably use it early in your discussions. Really say that this is part of what you're going to offer as part of that, particularly where it's a bigger premium. So one question I've got, and it might be a stupid one, and everybody might say, "Oh, come on, Julie." Where can they find? I think it was the ROCE on Companies House.
Good question. So it's not always there for every client. I believe it's under filed accounts, but there is a calculation that can be done to work it out from the account. So if it's not there as an actual figure, I can send around the calculation, because I'll be honest, I don't know off the top of my head. But there is a way of working it out.
Okay.
Or they can reach out to me and I can find the figure on Full Circle. So it's not
Even
problem.
better.
Oh, even better, because we haven't got Full Circle. We haven't. I know the brokers on here all using Credit Safe. Now, somebody might say to me, "Hey, Julie, it comes up on Credit Safe," which
Yeah.
if it does, then you've got it. But I
Mhm.
don't know if it does come up on the Credit Safe reports.
Yes. No, that would be
So-
useful. Amazing. Well, that is everything from me. If anyone does have any questions, feel free to fire off an email afterwards, or if you want a copy of our prospectus, I'm happy to send it over. But thank you all very much for your time this morning.
No, thanks everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.